When you hear the name Einstein, most people immediately think of the theory of relativity and his reputation as a scientific genius. However, his life is filled with many episodes that go far beyond his scientific achievements. By focusing on his regrets, surprising thoughts, and his special relationship with Japan, his human side becomes more evident. In this video, we will explore the famous quotes left by Einstein, the thoughts behind them, the regrets and struggles he felt throughout his life. We will also dive into what he thought about Japan and the hope he placed in the future. By reflecting on his life, we can gain new perspectives for our own future. Einstein was born in 1879 in Ulm, Germany. As a child, he was very quiet and introverted, which caused his parents to worry about his development. In fact, it is said that he did not speak until he was 5 years old. Despite his silence, he already had a deep curiosity about nature and the world around him. His interest in science first awakened when his father showed him a compass. The fact that the needle always pointed north fascinated him, sparking his lifelong passion for understanding the natural laws governing the universe. Einstein's academic performance was not smooth, and he often clashed with his teachers. He found the formal education system too rigid, preferring independent study and exploration. He struggled with memorization-focused education and had difficulty conforming to the conventional academic mold. This rebellious attitude often led to poor grades, and his teachers considered him a problematic student. Despite his academic struggles, Einstein never lost his passion for science. At the age of 9, he independently proved Pythagoras' theorem, and by the age of 12, he had mastered Euclidean geometry. These achievements laid the foundation for his scientific thinking and eventually led him to become one of the world's greatest scientists. During his youth, Einstein also grappled with the conflict between faith and science. Raised in a Christian environment, he initially believed in God with fervor, but after encountering Darwin's theory of evolution, he began to question religious teachings. This realization marked a significant turning point in his life, where the pursuit of scientific knowledge became more important than religious belief. Music also played a crucial role in Einstein's life. He found great solace in playing the violin, especially enjoying pieces by Mozart. To Einstein, music was, like science, a pursuit of order and logic, helping him to organize his thoughts and inspire creative ideas. However, Einstein's path was not always smooth. He struggled with university entrance exams, particularly in subjects like languages and the arts, where he failed. This failure was a major setback, but it also strengthened his resolve to pursue his passion for science even more intensely. Einstein's youthful experiences, including his struggles with faith and science, his love for music, and his ability to overcome setbacks, shaped his worldview. These early experiences heavily influenced his later scientific discoveries and philosophical outlook. His perseverance through difficulties and his continuous curiosity about the natural world became defining traits of his work. Einstein's unique perspective on life, science, and the universe would eventually lead him to question some of the most fundamental principles of physics. Einstein was born in 1879 in Ulm, Germany. As a child, he was very quiet and introverted, which caused his parents to worry about his development. In fact, it is said that he did not speak until he was 5 years old. Despite his silence, he already had a deep curiosity about nature and the world around him. His interest in science first awakened when his father showed him a compass. The fact that the needle always pointed north fascinated him, sparking his lifelong passion for understanding the natural laws governing the universe. However, Einstein's academic performance was far from smooth. He often clashed with his teachers due to his rebellious attitude toward formal education. Einstein was highly critical of the rigid, memorization-based curriculum, which did not align with his inquisitive nature. His independent and creative thinking did not fit well within the confines of traditional schooling, and as a result, his grades consistently suffered. Many of his teachers considered him a troublesome student, as he was often seen as disobedient or uninterested in the standard educational system. Despite these academic struggles, Einstein remained deeply passionate about learning, particularly in the realms of mathematics and science. By the age of 9, he had already proven Pythagoras' theorem on his own, an achievement that highlighted his early aptitude for mathematical reasoning. At 12, Einstein fully understood and mastered Euclidean geometry, another significant milestone in his self-driven education. These self-guided studies laid the foundation for his later scientific achievements and shaped his unique approach to problem-solving. In his youth, Einstein also experienced a profound inner conflict between science and religion. Raised in a Christian environment, he initially accepted religious teachings without question, believing in God with great fervor. However, his exposure to Darwin's theory of evolution prompted him to critically evaluate the teachings of the Bible. This marked a turning point in Einstein's thinking as he began to prioritize scientific inquiry over religious faith. His growing skepticism toward religious doctrines led him to explore the deeper philosophical implications of science and its role in understanding the world. While he distanced himself from traditional religious beliefs, Einstein never entirely abandoned a sense of spirituality. He developed his own concept of God, one that was closely tied to the beauty and order of the universe, rather than the anthropomorphic God of organized religion. This philosophical shift played a critical role in shaping Einstein's worldview as he sought to reconcile the mysteries of the universe with his own ethical and moral framework. Music was also a key influence in Einstein's life during his youth. From an early age, Einstein was deeply passionate about playing the violin, finding solace and inspiration in music. He particularly enjoyed the works of Mozart, whose compositions resonated with his sense of order, harmony, and beauty. For Einstein, music was not just a pastime, it was a way of thinking, much like mathematics and physics. He believed that music, like science, followed certain fundamental laws that could be understood and appreciated through careful study. Einstein's love for music helped him to develop a disciplined yet creative mindset that influenced his approach to scientific research. This blend of artistic sensitivity and scientific rigor would later become one of the defining characteristics of his intellectual style. Yet, despite his intellectual gifts, Einstein's journey to academic success was fraught with obstacles. He famously struggled with university entrance exams, particularly in subjects like language and the arts, where he failed to meet the required standards. This failure was a major setback for Einstein, and he felt deeply discouraged by his inability to succeed in traditional academic fields. However, his passion for science and mathematics remained undiminished. Despite failing in areas such as languages and art, Einstein excelled in subjects like physics and mathematics, where his natural talents shone through. His resilience and determination led him to pursue further studies in science, despite the challenges he faced. In 1896, at the age of 17, Einstein finally enrolled at the prestigious Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich. Here, he began his formal education in mathematics and physics, subjects that would later become the core of his groundbreaking work. However, even at university, Einstein's unconventional thinking and rebellious attitude toward authority sometimes created conflicts with his professors. He often skipped lectures, preferring to study independently, which frustrated many of his instructors. Despite these challenges, Einstein thrived in Zurich, building a strong foundation in the theoretical physics that would define his career. During his time at the Polytechnic, Einstein met several individuals who would influence his thinking and collaborate with him in the future. One of the most significant of these relationships was with Mileva Maric, a fellow physics student. Mileva was an intelligent and ambitious young woman, and the two quickly formed a close bond over their shared passion for science. Their relationship eventually led to marriage in 1903, although it was fraught with personal and professional difficulties. Mileva and Einstein had two sons together, Hans Albert and Eduard, but the marriage eventually deteriorated and ended in divorce in 1919. Despite the personal turmoil in his early adulthood, Einstein continued to pursue his scientific research with relentless focus. In 1905, often referred to as Einstein's Annus Mirabilis, or Miracle Year, he published 4 groundbreaking papers that would forever change the course of modern physics. Among these was his theory of special relativity, which introduced the famous equation, or MC2, demonstrating the relationship between energy and mass. This work revolutionized our understanding of time, space, and energy, and established Einstein as one of the foremost thinkers of his time. At the same time, Einstein made significant contributions to the field of quantum theory, particularly with his explanation of the photoelectric effect. His insights into how light particles, or photons, interact with matter laid the foundation for much of modern quantum mechanics. These discoveries earned Einstein widespread recognition and admiration, though he remained somewhat isolated within the scientific community due to his unorthodox views. Many of his contemporaries struggled to grasp the full implications of his work, especially his revolutionary ideas about time and space. Despite this, Einstein's persistence and intellectual brilliance allowed him to break new ground in fields that others had not yet imagined. Throughout his youth and early adulthood, Einstein's scientific contributions continued to evolve, shaping the future of theoretical physics. His theories, particularly in relativity and quantum mechanics, would form the cornerstone of 20th century science. Yet, Einstein's journey was not without its challenges, both personal and professional. His first marriage to Mileva was deeply troubled, and their eventual divorce marked a difficult period in his personal life. Moreover, Einstein's ideas were not always well received by the scientific establishment, and he faced criticism and skepticism from some of his peers. However, Einstein's ability to persevere through adversity, both in his personal life and professional career, is a testament to his resilience and determination. His early struggles with authority, traditional education, and personal relationships only served to strengthen his resolve to pursue scientific truth. By the time he reached his 30s, Einstein had already laid the groundwork for the discoveries that would later earn him a Nobel Prize. His early life and career were defined by his unyielding curiosity, intellectual bravery, and a willingness to challenge established norms, all of which would continue to shape his legacy. Throughout his life, Einstein left behind many famous quotes, but one of the most well-known is, "God does not play dice with the universe." This quote encapsulates Einstein's scientific beliefs and philosophical outlook. Einstein believed that the natural world operated according to strict laws, and every phenomenon followed a deterministic order. He rejected the notion that randomness or chance played a significant role in the workings of the universe. This belief was deeply rooted in his philosophical opposition to the emerging field of quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics introduced the idea that physical phenomena could occur probabilistically, meaning that the outcome of certain events could not be predicted with absolute certainty. This was a revolutionary departure from classical physics, which held that the universe followed strict, predictable laws. While many physicists embraced quantum theory, Einstein remained highly skeptical. He argued that the universe must operate according to a set of underlying principles that, if fully understood, would allow scientists to predict all events with precision. His famous quote about God and dice was a reflection of his discomfort with the idea that uncertainty could be a fundamental aspect of the natural world. Despite his skepticism toward quantum mechanics, Einstein's contributions to the field were immense. His work on the photoelectric effect, for which he won the Nobel Prize in 1921, was one of the key developments in the early stages of quantum theory. This demonstrated Einstein's ability to challenge prevailing scientific norms while simultaneously contributing to groundbreaking discoveries. Beyond his views on quantum mechanics, Einstein's philosophical reflections extended to broader questions about the nature of reality. He viewed the universe as a harmonious system governed by rational principles, a belief that shaped both his scientific and personal outlook. Einstein often spoke about the profound sense of awe and wonder he felt when contemplating the cosmos. He believed that science was a tool for uncovering the deep, underlying structure of reality. For Einstein, the pursuit of scientific knowledge was not merely an intellectual endeavor, but a deeply spiritual one. This perspective was heavily influenced by the 17th century philosopher Baruch Spinoza, whose ideas about God and nature had a profound impact on Einstein. Spinoza argued that God was not a personal being, but rather the totality of the natural world and its laws. Einstein adopted this view, believing that the beauty and order of the universe were expressions of a God that was synonymous with the laws of nature. In this sense, Einstein did not believe in a personal God who intervened in human affairs. Instead, he saw the divine in the structure and order of the universe, a perspective that merged science and spirituality in a unique way. He once famously said, "I believe in Spinoza's God, who reveals himself in the orderly harmony of what exists, not in a God who concerns himself with the fates and actions of human beings." This approach to religion and spirituality reflected Einstein's broader commitment to rationality and logic. He believed that scientific inquiry was the best way to understand the universe, and that religious teachings, while valuable in many ways, were limited by their reliance on faith. Einstein's views on religion sparked both admiration and controversy. Many religious figures criticized him for his rejection of a personal God, while others praised his efforts to reconcile science and spirituality. Einstein himself was often frustrated by the way his words were misinterpreted. He felt that his nuanced beliefs about God and the universe were too often simplified or distorted by the media and the public. Nevertheless, his philosophical reflections on science, religion, and the nature of reality continue to inspire and provoke debate to this day. His famous quote about science and faith, "Science without religion is lame, religion without science is blind," captures his belief that both realms have value, but only when they are understood in harmony with one another. Einstein's thoughts on imagination versus knowledge also reflect his unique perspective on science and creativity. One of his most famous quotes, "Imagination is more important than knowledge," highlights the value he placed on creative thinking. Einstein believed that knowledge is limited to what we already know, while imagination opens up possibilities for discovering the unknown. He saw creativity and imagination as the driving forces behind scientific breakthroughs. For Einstein, the ability to think outside the constraints of established knowledge was essential for making new discoveries. This belief in the power of imagination helped shape his approach to theoretical physics, where he often relied on thought experiments to explore complex concepts. In fact, many of Einstein's most groundbreaking ideas, including his theory of relativity, began as thought experiments. These mental exercises allowed him to visualize scenarios that were not yet possible to test in a laboratory setting. For example, Einstein famously imagined what it would be like to ride on a beam of light, a thought experiment that helped him develop his theory of special relativity. His ability to think abstractly and creatively was key to his success as a physicist. In addition to his emphasis on imagination, Einstein also spoke frequently about the importance of curiosity. He once said, "I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious." This humility and curiosity drove Einstein to constantly question and seek deeper understanding of the natural world. He believed that curiosity was the foundation of all scientific inquiry. Throughout his life, Einstein maintained a childlike sense of wonder about the universe, a quality that allowed him to approach problems with fresh eyes. His curiosity was not limited to physics. He was also deeply interested in philosophy, music, and human nature. Einstein's multifaceted curiosity helped him make connections between seemingly unrelated fields, which often led to innovative ideas. His broad intellectual interests also contributed to his unique perspective on science and life. While many of his contemporaries focused narrowly on their specific fields, Einstein drew inspiration from a wide range of sources. This interdisciplinary approach allowed him to see problems in new ways and come up with original solutions. Einstein's ability to blend imagination, curiosity, and interdisciplinary thinking was a hallmark of his genius. It also reinforced his belief that science was not just about accumulating facts, but about understanding the deeper principles that govern the universe. In his later years, Einstein became increasingly concerned with the ethical implications of scientific progress. He often spoke about the responsibility of scientists to use their knowledge for the betterment of humanity. Einstein believed that scientific discoveries should be used to promote peace and improve the human condition, rather than for destructive purposes. His experiences during World War II, particularly with the development of the atomic bomb, deepened his commitment to this ethical stance. Although Einstein's theories had indirectly contributed to the creation of nuclear weapons, he was a vocal advocate for disarmament and global peace. He warned of the dangers of unchecked scientific advancement, stating that technology must be guided by moral values. Einstein's philosophical reflections on science, morality, and the future of humanity are as relevant today as they were during his lifetime. His insights remind us that while science can provide incredible tools and solutions, it is ultimately up to humanity to use them wisely. Einstein's legacy as both a scientist and a philosopher continues to influence how we think about the role of science in society. His words and ideas challenge us to think deeply about the ethical responsibilities that come with scientific discovery. In 1922, Einstein visited Japan, a trip that left a lasting impression on him and influenced his thoughts and philosophy. His visit to Japan was not only a scientific endeavor, but also a deep cultural experience that connected him with the Japanese people. Einstein was invited to Japan to give a series of lectures on his theory of relativity, which had already gained international attention. The lectures took place in several major cities, including Tokyo, Kyoto, and Kobe. During these lectures, Einstein shared his groundbreaking scientific discoveries with Japan's academic community, but his influence extended beyond the realm of science. Einstein was deeply impressed by the cultural heritage and traditions of Japan. In particular, he was moved by the harmony between nature and human life that he observed in Japanese society. The quiet beauty of Japanese temples, gardens, and the practice of Zen Buddhism left a profound impact on him. He later wrote about his admiration for the balance of simplicity and serenity in Japanese life. One of the places that left the strongest impression on Einstein was Kyoto, where he visited several temples and experienced traditional Japanese tea ceremonies. The precise, almost meditative nature of the tea ceremony resonated with Einstein, who saw parallels between the discipline of science and the ritualistic beauty of Japanese culture. He described the tea ceremony as a perfect example of how art, tradition, and mindfulness could come together in a harmonious way. During his time in Kyoto, Einstein also delivered lectures at Kyoto University. He was struck by the attentiveness and curiosity of the Japanese students, who were eager to learn from one of the world's greatest minds. Einstein noted that the students' questions were both thoughtful and challenging, reflecting a deep intellectual engagement. He was impressed by the dedication to learning and education that he saw in Japan, and he felt that the Japanese youth held great promise for the future of science. Beyond the academic world, Einstein's trip to Japan was also a personal journey of discovery. He spent time exploring Japanese customs, from traditional crafts to spiritual practices, and his respect for the culture only deepened as he learned more. One of the aspects of Japanese culture that particularly fascinated Einstein was the practice of Zen meditation. He found the Zen approach to mindfulness and simplicity deeply appealing, as it echoed some of his own philosophical ideas about the universe. Einstein saw in Zen a form of understanding that paralleled scientific inquiry, where deep truths were revealed through quiet reflection and simplicity. This connection between Zen and science reinforced Einstein's belief in the harmony of the universe, a central theme in both his scientific work and personal philosophy. During his time in Japan, Einstein also met with various prominent figures, including politicians, intellectuals, and artists. These meetings allowed him to gain a broader understanding of Japan's role in the world and its ambitions in the realms of science and technology. Despite some cultural and language barriers, Einstein was able to connect deeply with the people he met, thanks to his humility and genuine curiosity. The Japanese press closely followed Einstein's visit, and he became something of a celebrity during his stay. His ideas about science, philosophy, and even his thoughts on world peace were widely reported in Japanese newspapers. Although Einstein's theory of relativity was not fully understood by the general public, his persona and ideas captivated the Japanese audience. Einstein's humility and openness to other cultures made him an ideal ambassador for science and knowledge, and his presence in Japan left a lasting impression. In fact, after his visit, Einstein continued to correspond with several Japanese intellectuals and students, maintaining strong ties with the country. These exchanges helped to foster a deeper mutual understanding between Einstein and the Japanese scientific community. The connections Einstein made during his time in Japan were more than just intellectual. They were deeply personal and spiritual as well. One of the lasting impacts of Einstein's visit to Japan was his appreciation for the balance between tradition and modernity in Japanese society. He admired how Japan was rapidly advancing in science and technology, yet still retained its cultural heritage and spiritual traditions. Einstein's admiration for Japan went beyond its academic institutions and into its broader societal structure. He recognized the discipline and respect for knowledge that were deeply ingrained in Japanese culture. These values resonated with his own beliefs about the importance of education and intellectual curiosity. Although Einstein's theory of relativity was complex and difficult for many to grasp, his visit to Japan helped inspire a new generation of Japanese scientists and thinkers. The Japanese scientific community welcomed Einstein's ideas with great enthusiasm, and many young scientists were motivated to pursue advanced studies in physics and other fields as a result. Einstein's trip to Japan also opened up avenues for future scientific collaboration between Japan and the West. He became a symbol of how science could transcend cultural boundaries and foster mutual understanding between different nations. Despite some initial skepticism about the relativity theory, Einstein's presence and personality helped bridge gaps between Japanese traditionalism and Western modernism. During his stay in Japan, Einstein did not just stick to academic and intellectual circles. He also made a point to explore the natural beauty of the country. He traveled to various scenic spots, including Mount Fuji, where he experienced the breathtaking landscapes that have been a source of inspiration for Japanese art and culture. The tranquility and majesty of Japan's natural environment resonated deeply with Einstein, who often spoke about the harmony between nature and human existence. He believed that Japan's reverence for nature was something that Western countries could learn from, especially in the context of rapid industrialization and technological advancement. After returning from Japan, Einstein frequently spoke about his experiences there, reflecting on the country's unique blend of innovation, tradition, and spirituality. He remained deeply connected to Japan throughout his life, both through personal friendships and intellectual exchanges. One of the most notable outcomes of Einstein's visit to Japan was his connection with Hideki Yukawa, a Japanese theoretical physicist who would later become the first Japanese Nobel Prize winner in physics. Yukawa was inspired by Einstein's work and lectures, which played a role in shaping his own scientific pursuits. Einstein and Yukawa maintained a professional relationship, and Einstein often expressed his admiration for the progress that Japanese scientists were making. Einstein also maintained correspondence with several universities and research institutions in Japan, offering guidance and encouragement to young Japanese physicists. His influence on Japan's scientific community extended beyond his lifetime, as many of the individuals he met continued to contribute to Japan's development in physics and other fields. Moreover, Einstein's admiration for Japan's cultural and intellectual heritage made him an important figure in fostering goodwill between Japan and the West. He saw Japan as a country that could serve as a bridge between Eastern and Western philosophies and approaches to science and life. Einstein's reflections on his time in Japan reveal his deep respect for the country's balance of modernity and tradition. He often remarked on how Japan managed to preserve its ancient wisdom while embracing the future with open arms. In his writings, Einstein described Japan as a place where one could find serenity amidst the chaos of the modern world. This balance between the old and the new was something that Einstein believed other countries should strive to achieve. Einstein's philosophical reflections on Japan also extended to his thoughts on peace and global harmony. He saw Japan as a potential leader in promoting peaceful scientific collaboration and mutual understanding among nations. In many ways, Einstein's trip to Japan was more than just an academic tour. It was a personal journey that enriched his worldview and deepened his appreciation for different cultures. His time in Japan reinforced his belief in the power of science and education to transcend borders and bring people together. Even today, Einstein's legacy in Japan lives on, as his work continues to inspire new generations of scientists and thinkers. One of the deepest regrets in Einstein's life was his indirect involvement in the development of the atomic bomb. Although he did not work directly on the bomb, his groundbreaking theory of relativity, particularly the equation E-mc2, laid the foundation for the development of nuclear weapons. In 1939, at the urging of Hungarian physicist Leo Szilard, Einstein co-signed a letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt. This letter warned Roosevelt about the possibility that Nazi Germany might be developing an atomic bomb, urging the United States to begin similar research. This letter led to the establishment of the Manhattan Project, the secret U.S. government research program that ultimately developed the first nuclear bombs. Although Einstein's role in the project was limited to this initial letter, he later expressed profound regret over the consequences of his actions. The bombs developed by the Manhattan Project were eventually dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945, killing hundreds of thousands of civilians. Einstein was horrified by the devastation these bombs caused and felt a deep sense of guilt over his indirect role in their creation. After the war, Einstein became an outspoken advocate for nuclear disarmament, dedicating much of his later life to promoting peace and warning of the dangers of nuclear weapons. He joined several peace movements and used his influence to speak out against the arms race that had begun between the United States and the Soviet Union. One of his most famous statements during this time was, "The unleashed power of the atom has changed everything except our way of thinking." Einstein believed that humanity's technological advancements had outpaced its moral and ethical development. He feared that if we did not learn to control our use of nuclear energy, the consequences would be catastrophic for future generations. His advocacy for disarmament was not just about preventing the use of nuclear weapons, but also about encouraging nations to think critically about the ethical implications of scientific progress. In many ways, Einstein's later life was defined by this deep moral conviction that science must be guided by ethical principles. He believed that scientists had a responsibility to consider how their discoveries would be used and to ensure that they were applied for the betterment of humanity. This belief was reflected in his numerous public statements and writings about the need for peace and international cooperation. Einstein's regret over the atomic bomb also influenced his personal relationships. He often spoke about his sorrow when discussing the bomb with fellow scientists, and he was known to have shed tears over the destruction in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. One of his most poignant encounters was with Hideki Yukawa, a Japanese physicist who later became the first Japanese Nobel Prize winner in physics. During their meeting, Einstein apologized for his indirect role in the creation of the bomb, expressing his deep regret and sorrow. This act of humility and responsibility further solidified Einstein's status as a moral leader in the scientific community. His remorse over the bomb also shaped his views on international governance and the need for global cooperation to prevent future wars. Einstein became a strong advocate for the establishment of a world government, which he believed could mediate conflicts and ensure that scientific discoveries were used for peaceful purposes. He argued that nationalism and the pursuit of military superiority were incompatible with the survival of humanity in the nuclear age. In his later writings, Einstein frequently warned that humanity stood at a crossroads, with one path leading to peace and cooperation, and the other to destruction and chaos. He believed that the only way to avoid future nuclear disasters was through the establishment of a new global order based on mutual respect and collaboration. Despite his best efforts, Einstein often expressed frustration at the slow pace of change in international relations. He felt that the world's leaders were too focused on short-term political gains and not enough on long-term global security. In private letters, Einstein wrote about his disillusionment with the political establishment, lamenting that many politicians lacked the vision needed to secure a peaceful future. He remained hopeful, however, that future generations of scientists and leaders would learn from the mistakes of the past and work towards a more harmonious world. Einstein's legacy as an advocate for peace and his efforts to prevent the misuse of scientific discoveries remain an important part of his overall contribution to humanity. One of the key messages Einstein often reiterated in his later years was the need for disarmament and peaceful resolution of conflicts. He believed that science should be used as a tool for improving human life, not for its destruction. This conviction became particularly important to Einstein after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He frequently spoke out against the arms race that was unfolding between the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Einstein was deeply concerned that the growing stockpiles of nuclear weapons would lead to another catastrophic war. His warnings about the dangers of nuclear weapons were not always heeded, but his voice became one of the most prominent in the global movement for nuclear disarmament. In addition to his public speeches, Einstein also used his influence in the scientific community to push for change. He helped found the Emergency Committee of Atomic Scientists, a group dedicated to educating the public about the dangers of nuclear weapons. The committee's mission was to inform people about the long-term consequences of nuclear warfare and to promote peaceful uses of atomic energy. Einstein believed that education was the key to preventing future conflicts, and that people needed to be made aware of the moral implications of nuclear weapons. One of the committee's main initiatives was to encourage scientists to take a more active role in ensuring that their discoveries were used responsibly. Einstein often spoke about the ethical responsibilities that came with scientific advancement, emphasizing that knowledge without wisdom could be dangerous. He called for scientists to consider the broader implications of their work and to advocate for its peaceful application. Einstein's advocacy for peace extended beyond his work on nuclear disarmament. He became involved in broader efforts to promote international cooperation and understanding. In his view, the only way to ensure lasting peace was through the establishment of strong international institutions that could mediate disputes and prevent war. Einstein was a strong supporter of the United Nations, seeing it as a potential platform for global governance and peacekeeping. However, he also criticized the organization's early limitations, particularly its inability to enforce disarmament and prevent the arms race. Despite these challenges, Einstein remained optimistic about the potential for international cooperation. He believed that as the world became more interconnected, people would eventually recognize the futility of war and work together for the common good. In his later years, Einstein's peace activism became just as central to his identity as his scientific achievements. He often wrote and spoke about the need for humanity to evolve morally in order to match its scientific progress. He believed that if humanity could not learn to live in harmony, the very technologies we developed would lead to our destruction. This deep moral conviction shaped much of Einstein's work in the final decades of his life. Despite the hardships he faced and the tragedies he witnessed, Einstein never gave up hope for a better, more peaceful future. His vision for a world governed by reason, science, and mutual respect continues to inspire peace advocates and scientists alike. Even though the atomic bomb had cast a shadow over his legacy, Einstein's efforts to prevent further nuclear devastation showed his deep commitment to humanity. His belief in the power of science to uplift and improve society remains a core part of his legacy. Einstein's advocacy for peace and disarmament is as relevant today as it was during his lifetime, reminding us of the importance of using knowledge responsibly. His warnings about the dangers of unchecked technological advancement continue to resonate in a world still grappling with the ethical implications of new scientific discoveries. Through his actions and words, Einstein left a powerful message for future generations. Science must always serve humanity, not harm it. His regrets about the atomic bomb and his relentless pursuit of peace offer a model of how scientists can take responsibility for the consequences of their work. In his later years, Einstein increasingly focused on advocating for peace and the ethical use of scientific discoveries. After witnessing the devastation of World War II and the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Einstein's commitment to peace became one of the central themes of his life. He believed that the immense power unlocked by scientific advancements, particularly nuclear technology, posed a grave danger to humanity if not used responsibly. As a result, Einstein devoted much of his final decades to promoting nuclear disarmament and encouraging international cooperation. Einstein's stance on peace was deeply connected to his philosophical beliefs about the interconnectedness of all people and the universe. He believed that lasting peace could only be achieved through mutual understanding, respect, and the rejection of nationalism. Einstein was a vocal critic of nationalism, which he saw as one of the root causes of conflict between nations. He argued that nationalism fostered division and competition rather than cooperation and shared progress. Throughout his life, Einstein remained a strong advocate for the idea of a world government, which he believed was necessary to maintain global peace and prevent future wars. He envisioned a global authority that could mediate disputes between nations, regulate the use of powerful technologies, and protect human rights. Einstein's commitment to peace also extended to his views on education and the role of scientists in society. He believed that education should promote not only intellectual growth, but also moral and ethical development. For Einstein, science was a tool for understanding the universe and improving human life, but it also required a strong ethical foundation to ensure it was used for the right purposes. He frequently warned against the dangers of science being used for destructive ends, urging scientists to consider the broader consequences of their work. In his later years, Einstein was a key figure in the movement to limit the spread of nuclear weapons. He worked closely with several international organizations, including the United Nations, to promote disarmament and peace-building initiatives. Einstein's efforts were not limited to speeches and public statements. He actively participated in peace conferences and discussions with world leaders. He used his influence to lobby for diplomatic solutions to international conflicts and to raise awareness about the potential consequences of nuclear warfare. One of his most notable contributions to the peace movement was his participation in the Russell-Einstein Manifesto. Released in 1955, this document was a call to the world's governments to address the growing threat of nuclear weapons and to find peaceful solutions to conflicts. The manifesto was signed by Einstein and British philosopher Bertrand Russell, along with several other prominent scientists and intellectuals. It urged the international community to set aside political differences and focus on the survival of humanity in the face of the nuclear threat. The Russell-Einstein Manifesto is considered one of the most important peace declarations of the 20th century. It laid the groundwork for future disarmament efforts, including the establishment of the Pugwash Conferences on Science and World Affairs, which continue to this day. Einstein's involvement in these efforts reflected his deep belief in the power of science to promote peace rather than war. He saw scientists as having a special responsibility to ensure that their discoveries were used for the benefit of all humankind, not for its destruction. Einstein's peace activism was also shaped by his personal experiences as a Jewish refugee who had fled Nazi Germany. His first-hand experience with the horrors of war and persecution fueled his desire to prevent future atrocities. In addition to advocating for peace, Einstein spoke out against racism, inequality, and human rights abuses. He believed that true peace could not be achieved without social justice and equality for all people. His commitment to these causes made him a respected moral voice in both the scientific and global communities. Even as his health declined in his later years, Einstein remained dedicated to his vision of a peaceful, just world. As Einstein's health declined, his commitment to peace and social justice only grew stronger. He continued to write letters, deliver speeches, and support various peace organizations despite his physical limitations. Even in his final years, he remained a passionate advocate for disarmament and international cooperation. In one of his last public statements, Einstein warned against the dangers of a nuclear arms race, urging world leaders to work together to ensure peace. He believed that humanity was at a critical crossroads, where the choices made by political leaders would determine the future of the world. Einstein emphasized that the world needed more than just scientific advancement. It required moral progress as well. He often spoke of the need for humanity to evolve ethically in order to handle the power that scientific discoveries had unlocked. For Einstein, the ultimate goal of science was not just to understand the universe, but to improve human life and create a more just and peaceful world. His vision for the future was one where science and ethics worked hand in hand to solve global problems such as poverty, inequality, and conflict. Einstein's commitment to these values was reflected in his involvement with numerous humanitarian causes. He was a vocal supporter of civil rights in the United States, speaking out against segregation and racial discrimination. Einstein frequently corresponded with African-American leaders, including W.E.B. Du Bois, and used his platform to highlight the injustices faced by marginalized communities. His advocacy for civil rights was not limited to the U.S. He also condemned colonialism and supported movements for independence around the world. Einstein's global outlook extended to his views on education as well. He believed that education should foster critical thinking, creativity, and ethical responsibility, preparing future generations to tackle the world's most pressing challenges. In his later years, Einstein often reflected on the role of education in shaping a peaceful and equitable society. He believed that schools should not only teach scientific knowledge, but also promote values like empathy, cooperation, and respect for others. Einstein's vision for education was deeply rooted in his belief that a well-rounded individual, equipped with both knowledge and ethics, could contribute to a better world. He often remarked that intellectual achievements without moral integrity were hollow and dangerous. For Einstein, the advancement of science could only be meaningful if it was accompanied by a commitment to humanity's well-being. His writings from this period reflect a deep sense of urgency regarding the future of humanity. Einstein saw the potential for great progress, but he also recognized the immense risks posed by unchecked technological advancements. He He was particularly concerned about the impact of nuclear weapons and the possibility of another world war. In private conversations, Einstein expressed his fears that humanity might not survive if leaders failed to prioritize peace and disarmament. However, despite these concerns, Einstein remained hopeful that humanity could learn from its mistakes and build a more peaceful world. He believed that science had the potential to unite people across borders and foster a sense of shared responsibility for the planet. Einstein's optimism was rooted in his belief in the power of human reason and creativity to solve even the most complex problems. He envisioned a future where science was used to address global challenges like poverty, disease, and environmental degradation. In the end, Einstein's legacy is not only defined by his contributions to physics, but also by his unwavering commitment to peace, justice, and ethical responsibility. His life's work reminds us that science is not just a tool for understanding the universe. It is also a force for positive change in the world. As we reflect on Einstein's contributions to both science and society, we are reminded of the importance of using knowledge wisely and ethically. His vision for a peaceful, just, and cooperative world continues to inspire scientists, activists, and leaders today, guiding us toward a future where science serves the greater good of humanity. Einstein's views on religion and philosophy were deeply intertwined with his scientific beliefs and his understanding of the universe. Unlike many scientists, Einstein did not consider science and religion to be inherently opposed to one another. He famously stated, "Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind," reflecting his belief that both had important roles to play in human understanding. For Einstein, religion was not about belief in a personal God who intervenes in human affairs. Instead, he saw religion as a way of contemplating the wonder and order of the universe. He often spoke about the deep sense of awe and mystery that he felt when contemplating the natural world. This feeling of awe, Einstein believed, was a kind of spiritual experience, one that science helped to deepen rather than diminish. In this way, Einstein's view of religion was more aligned with philosophy than with traditional religious teachings. One of the key influences on Einstein's religious philosophy was the 17th century philosopher Baruch Spinoza. Spinoza argued that God was not a personal being, but rather the totality of the universe and its natural laws. Einstein resonated with this idea, seeing God as synonymous with the order and harmony of the universe. He famously remarked, "I believe in Spinoza's God, who reveals himself in the orderly harmony of what exists." This belief in a non-personal God shaped much of Einstein's thinking about the relationship between science and spirituality. For Einstein, the laws of nature were not just scientific principles, they were expressions of something greater, something that inspired awe and reverence. In his view, the study of the universe through science was a way of uncovering the mind of God, a metaphor he often used to describe the search for understanding. However, Einstein was also careful to distinguish his views from those of traditional religion. He did not believe in a God who watched over individuals or intervened in the events of the world. Instead, he believed that the universe operated according to natural laws that were consistent and unchanging. This rejection of a personal God put Einstein at odds with many religious leaders, particularly those from monotheistic faiths. Some critics accused Einstein of being an atheist, a label he rejected. Einstein insisted that while he did not believe in a personal God, he was not an atheist because he still believed in something greater than humanity, a cosmic order that transcended human understanding. This belief was rooted in his scientific observations of the universe's complexity and beauty. Einstein often spoke about the humility that science instilled in him. He believed that humanity's understanding of the universe was always limited, and that this limitation was what gave rise to a sense of wonder and mystery. In one of his letters, Einstein wrote, "The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science." This reverence for the unknown was central to Einstein's philosophical outlook. He believed that both science and religion were attempts to grapple with the mysteries of existence, albeit in different ways. For Einstein, religion was not about dogma or ritual. It was about seeking meaning in the vast, incomprehensible universe. He felt that traditional religious practices often failed to capture this deeper, more philosophical approach to spirituality. Nevertheless, Einstein recognized the value of religious teachings in promoting moral behavior and social cohesion. He believed that religion had an important role to play in guiding people's ethical behavior, even if it was not the ultimate source of truth. In this way, Einstein saw science and religion as complementary, with science providing knowledge about the world and religion offering a framework for moral living. Einstein's views on morality were closely linked to his philosophical understanding of the universe. He believed that morality should be based on reason and empathy, rather than religious doctrines or commandments. For Einstein, ethical behavior arose naturally from the recognition of the interconnectedness of all people and the shared human experience. He often spoke about the importance of compassion and understanding in shaping a just and peaceful society. In this sense, Einstein's moral philosophy was humanistic, grounded in the belief that people had the capacity to improve the world through their actions. He saw ethics as a fundamental part of life, just as essential as scientific knowledge. "Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison," Einstein wrote, referring to the self-centered focus that often dominates human thought. He believed that true ethical behavior required transcending individual concerns and considering the well-being of others. Einstein's humanism also extended to his views on political and social issues. He was a vocal advocate for civil rights, equality, and social justice, speaking out against racism and oppression. In the United States, Einstein became a supporter of the civil rights movement, using his platform to speak out against segregation and discrimination. He often remarked that science, like ethics, had the potential to bring people together across divides of race, nationality, and religion. This belief in the unity of humanity was a central tenet of Einstein's worldview. His rejection of nationalism and his advocacy for a world government were rooted in this same philosophical outlook. Einstein argued that humanity could not survive if it continued to divide itself along national and cultural lines. He believed that the future of the world depended on people recognizing their shared interests and working together for the common good. In this way, Einstein's philosophical and ethical views were deeply intertwined with his scientific beliefs. Just as he saw the universe as governed by universal laws, he believed that human society should be governed by universal principles of justice and cooperation. This vision for a unified, peaceful world shaped much of Einstein's work in his later years. He used his scientific fame to promote these ideas, hoping to inspire future generations to embrace a more harmonious way of living. Despite the challenges he faced, Einstein remained optimistic about humanity's potential for growth and change. He often spoke of the power of reason and creativity to overcome even the most difficult obstacles. For Einstein, science was not just a means of understanding the physical world. It was a tool for improving human life and fostering greater empathy among people. In this way, Einstein's views on science, religion, and philosophy were all part of a larger vision for a more enlightened and compassionate world. His belief in the harmony of the universe extended beyond the realm of physics and into his understanding of human society. Einstein saw both the natural world and human civilization as governed by the same principles of order, balance, and interdependence. This holistic perspective influenced his approach to life, work, and social issues, making him not just a scientist, but also a philosopher and moral thinker. Through his writings and speeches, Einstein challenged others to think deeply about their own ethical responsibilities. He encouraged people to consider how their actions, whether in science, politics, or everyday life, could contribute to the greater good. In the end, Einstein's legacy is not just his contributions to physics, but also his profound influence on how we think about the relationship between science, morality, and human progress. His life and work continue to inspire those who seek to understand the world and make it a better place. Einstein's belief in the power of reason, empathy, and ethics remains a guiding force for scientists, philosophers, and peace advocates around the globe. Albert Einstein's legacy extends far beyond his contributions to physics and scientific theory. While he is most famous for his theory of relativity, Einstein's influence on the world spans many different fields, from education to social justice to philosophy. His work transformed our understanding of the universe, but it also inspired countless individuals to think more deeply about the role of science in society. One of Einstein's greatest legacies is his demonstration of how science can be a force for positive change. Through his work, Einstein showed that science is not just about discovering new facts. It's about using knowledge to improve human life. His efforts to apply scientific thinking to social, political, and ethical issues continue to shape how we approach these challenges today. In the realm of education, Einstein's ideas have had a profound impact. He believed that education should focus not just on imparting knowledge, but on fostering creativity, curiosity, and critical thinking. For Einstein, the goal of education was to help students develop a sense of wonder about the world and to encourage them to ask questions. His belief in the importance of imagination in learning has influenced educational philosophies around the world. Many modern educational approaches emphasize the kind of creative problem-solving and independent thinking that Einstein championed. His views on education remain relevant today, especially as educators strive to prepare students for a rapidly changing world. Einstein's legacy in science is, of course, monumental. His theory of relativity fundamentally changed our understanding of time, space, and the nature of reality. This theory, along with his work on quantum mechanics, laid the groundwork for many of the technological advancements we enjoy today. From GPS technology to advancements in nuclear energy, Einstein's discoveries continue to influence modern science and engineering. His equation E=mc2, which expresses the relationship between energy and mass, has become one of the most famous formulas in history. This equation not only revolutionized physics, but also led to practical applications in fields like nuclear power and medical imaging. Beyond the practical applications of his work, Einstein's contributions to our understanding of the universe have inspired generations of scientists to explore the mysteries of space, time, and matter. His work opened up new avenues of research in fields like cosmology, particle physics, and gravitational waves. Today, scientists continue to build on Einstein's theories, using them to explore questions about the origins of the universe, the behavior of black holes, and the nature of dark matter and dark energy. In this sense, Einstein's legacy is not just about the discoveries he made, but about the possibilities he unlocked for future generations. Even though Einstein's theories were groundbreaking, his influence was not limited to the scientific community. He was deeply concerned with how science was used in society and believed that scientists had a responsibility to ensure that their discoveries were applied ethically. Einstein's commitment to peace, justice, and disarmament has had a lasting impact on the global peace movement. His warnings about the dangers of nuclear weapons and his advocacy for nuclear disarmament remain highly relevant in today's world. The Russell-Einstein Manifesto, which called for the abolition of nuclear weapons, is still cited by activists and policymakers who work for global disarmament. Einstein's involvement in the peace movement has made him a symbol of the scientist's role as a moral leader. He showed that scientists have a duty not just to advance knowledge, but also to consider the social and ethical implications of their work. This idea continues to resonate with scientists today, especially as we face new ethical challenges related to emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and genetic engineering. Einstein's legacy also includes his advocacy for civil rights and social justice. He used his platform to speak out against racism, discrimination, and inequality, particularly in the United States, where he supported the civil rights movement. Einstein believed deeply in equality and justice, and he used his status as a prominent public figure to advocate for the rights of marginalized communities. He spoke out against segregation and racial inequality, lending his support to African American leaders like W.E.B. Du Bois and Paul Robeson. Einstein's moral courage in addressing social injustices earned him the respect of civil rights leaders, as well as a place in the broader struggle for human rights. His commitment to justice was not limited to the United States. Einstein also spoke out against colonialism and supported movements for independence around the world. He believed that freedom and equality were fundamental human rights that should be extended to all people, regardless of race, nationality, or background. Einstein's advocacy for social justice and human rights remains an important part of his legacy, inspiring activists and leaders to continue the fight for equality today. In addition to his contributions to science and social justice, Einstein's philosophical views have also left a lasting impact. His writings on the nature of reality, the role of science in society, and the relationship between science and religion continue to influence thinkers in various fields. Einstein's ideas about the interconnectedness of all things have had a particular influence on modern environmental thought. He recognized that humanity's actions had a profound impact on the natural world and believed that science should be used to promote sustainability and harmony with nature. Today, Einstein's views on the environment resonate with those working to combat climate change and promote ecological sustainability. His belief in the importance of education, empathy, and ethical responsibility is a guiding principle for many educators, scientists, and policymakers around the world. Einstein's legacy also includes his profound sense of wonder and curiosity about the universe. He encouraged people to approach life with a sense of humility and awe, recognizing that our understanding of the world is always limited and incomplete. This attitude of curiosity and openness to new ideas has inspired generations of scientists to continue exploring the unknown. Einstein's life and work remind us that science is not just about answering questions, it's about asking them too. His legacy is a testament to the power of human creativity, intellect, and imagination in advancing our understanding of the universe. Einstein's influence can be seen in the work of countless scientists, educators, and thinkers who have followed in his footsteps. From theoretical physics to philosophy to social justice, his contributions continue to shape the way we think about the world and our place in it. Even today, Einstein's work is at the forefront of cutting-edge scientific research. His theories continue to be tested, expanded, and applied in new ways, proving that his contributions remain as relevant as ever. In fields such as quantum mechanics, astrophysics, and cosmology, Einstein's work serves as a foundation for much of the ongoing research. His vision of a unified theory that explains all physical phenomena remains one of the greatest challenges in modern physics. Scientists around the world are still working to solve the mysteries of the universe that Einstein pondered during his lifetime. Beyond the world of science, Einstein's legacy of peace, justice, and ethical responsibility continues to inspire leaders and activists. His example serves as a reminder that knowledge must always be paired with wisdom and compassion in order to truly benefit humanity. Einstein's life teaches us that it is not enough to simply acquire knowledge. We must also consider how that knowledge can be used to create a better world. His belief in the potential of science to uplift humanity, combined with his commitment to social and ethical principles, makes him one of the most influential figures of the 20th century. Einstein's legacy continues to shape our understanding of the universe, our approach to science, and our efforts to create a more just and peaceful world. As we face new challenges in the 21st century, from technological advancements to global crises, Einstein's life and work remind us of the importance of balancing progress with responsibility. His vision of a world where science and ethics work together for the betterment of all people is one that remains as relevant today as it was during his lifetime. Einstein's legacy will undoubtedly continue to inspire future generations, serving as a beacon of hope, creativity, and moral integrity for years to come. As we come to the end of our exploration of Albert Einstein's life and legacy, it becomes clear that his impact goes far beyond the boundaries of science. While his contributions to physics revolutionized our understanding of the universe, Einstein's influence extended into the realms of education, philosophy, social justice, and peace. His life's work was driven by a deep curiosity about the natural world and a profound sense of responsibility to use his discoveries for the betterment of humanity. Einstein's belief in the power of reason, empathy, and ethical responsibility was central to everything he did, both as a scientist and as a global citizen. His famous equation, E = mc2, may be one of the most recognizable symbols of scientific achievement, but Einstein himself was more than just a theoretical physicist. He was a philosopher who pondered the mysteries of existence, a humanist who fought for social justice, and a peace advocate who warned of the dangers of unchecked technological advancement. Throughout his life, Einstein demonstrated that science and morality are not mutually exclusive. Rather, they must work hand in hand to create a better world. His work reminds us that knowledge alone is not enough. It is how we use that knowledge that truly matters. As we face the challenges of the 21st century, from environmental crises to technological ethics, Einstein's insights continue to provide valuable lessons. His call for peace, justice, and responsible scientific progress is as relevant today as it was during his lifetime. The questions Einstein raised about the role of science in society remain vital to our ongoing discussions about the future of humanity. His belief in the interconnectedness of all people and the shared responsibility we have to one another is a guiding principle that continues to resonate. Einstein's legacy challenges us to think deeply about our own ethical responsibilities, both as individuals and as members of a global community. His life serves as an example of how one person, armed with intellect, imagination, and compassion, can make a profound difference in the world. As we reflect on Einstein's achievements, we are reminded that the pursuit of knowledge is a lifelong journey, one that requires humility, curiosity, and a commitment to the greater good. Einstein often spoke of the importance of imagination and creativity in science, emphasizing that these qualities were just as important as logic and reason. He encouraged people to approach the world with a sense of wonder, to ask questions, and to never stop learning. His words and actions continue to inspire scientists, educators, and thinkers across the globe to push the boundaries of knowledge while remaining mindful of the ethical implications of their work. Einstein's legacy is a testament to the power of the human mind to unlock the secrets of the universe, but it is also a reminder of the need for compassion and wisdom in how we apply that knowledge. As we look to the future, Einstein's vision of a world where science, ethics, and peace work together remains a powerful beacon of hope. His life's work offers us a model of how to navigate the complex challenges of our modern world, showing us that we can and must balance progress with responsibility. So, as we conclude this exploration of Albert Einstein's remarkable life, we ask you, our viewers, to consider what lessons you have drawn from his legacy. How can we, in our own lives, apply the principles of empathy, creativity, and ethical responsibility that Einstein so fervently believed in? How can we use the knowledge we gain to make the world a better, more peaceful place for future generations? Einstein once said, "The world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing." His words remind us that we all have a role to play in shaping the future, whether through scientific discovery, social activism, or simply by making ethical choices in our daily lives. We hope this video has inspired you to think more deeply about the impact of science on society and the ethical responsibilities we all share. If you found this exploration of Einstein's life meaningful, we encourage you to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments section. How has Einstein's work influenced your own understanding of the world, and what lessons can we take from his legacy as we move forward? Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the lives and legacies of great thinkers, scientists, and leaders who have shaped our world. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to continuing this journey of discovery with you in future videos. Until next time, remember, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world.